My name is Christine Mkabana. I'm a mother of two. I'm married for the last 28 years. I'll be turning 56 at the end of this year. I live in Nairobi, born in Nairobi. I'm working for an insurance company, and my job title is Quality Assurance Officer. The one thing I would want to tell you also, I'm a cancer survivor, cancer warrior, and I enjoy listening to music. I love traveling. I love taking care of sick patients. And I also like going to church and being very prayerful. My favorite dish is rice and veggies, especially kimchi. I also like doing exercises every day. And Roberta Bobby is my firstborn daughter. I'm here on her podcast to talk about my journey since I was diagnosed with cancer and my feelings emotionally, and also to encourage others who are newly diagnosed.
I was really thinking about if I wanted to speak on this episode, but just before I hit publish, I realized that I haven't really spoken about how I feel about like what I went through during the time when my mom was ill and when my mom was away for treatment, and just the whole journey up to now, like how we are at home or how she is and how everything is feeling. And this is, I think, because for the longest time I hadn't really processed my own emotions. I was kind of just cruising through life because during the time I found out my mom was unwell, I was really going through so many other things in my personal life. A lot of things were not going well for me. I was losing so many things at the same time, and like I wasn't really scared about the future because for some reason I always just know that I'm going to end up okay. But nilikuwa nashanga why I'm hitting so many curbs at the same time, like why so many things are going wrong all at the same time. So on the day that I found out my mom had cancer, she had been unwell for a while, and she was going to the hospital on and off. She had like 2 surgeries before. Moja ilikuwa ya kutoa uterus yake because she had fibroids, recurring fibroids. Ingine ilikuwa ya hemorrhoids. So she was just healing from, her hemorrhoid surgery, but vitu hazikuwa zina like hakuwa na heal quite correct, na alikuwa na shanga wagwan. She kept going to the hospitals and they kept misdiagnosing her. And the thing with cancer is the faster you find it, the better like your chances at life are at just recovery. Yani ikipatwa haraka ni better, it can be handled better and faster. So imagine this whole 1 year, she just kept being misdiagnosed. She knew something was wrong with her body, and she had the intuition that it could be cancer. But then just pushing for the advocacy of women, like going to the hospital and saying, no, I actually feel like I have a problem. Mind you, she's a medic. My mom is a medic worker. She was a nurse for the longest time before she got into doing other things. So she knew she was seeing the symptoms na pia Google. But I think also as just a mom, she was really, really scared for herself. She was scared for her kids. It's one thing to think it, and then it's another to get like confirmation on paper, like boom, this is what's happening. So on that day that I found out, my mom had been going on these hospital trips, and something in me was just telling me, this is quite unusual. Like now the trips are becoming more frequent. She's always in hospital. She always has an appointment for something. I wasn't really scared because my mom is such a strong lady. Like, she's damn strong too. So I wasn't really afraid that you never think it could be you. Even when you listen to these cancer stories, inakwanga, it's happening to someone else, but never really. Ama unasikianga, oh, mama nani alienda India, mama nani. But when it's happening to you, it's really, really different. So I don't think I ever got to process my emotions or to really understand this is what is happening, because immediately I jumped into, I'm the firstborn, so I immediately jumped into protective mode, provider, protector. And that's how I've grown up. If you're a firstborn, kila kitu is on you. So I jumped into that role really, really quickly. I hardly ever processed my emotions. Like, I hardly sat down to think about what's happening, what does this mean. And the first time we got the news, we were told it's stage 4. And when you Google stage 4, you see, oh, it's the end, CG, death, what. Oh my God. It's so fucking scary. My mom is my absolute best friend. And to even try to imagine that someone who's always been so strong and that anaweza tu angushwa na kitu moja, it was so fucking crazy to me. I couldn't really understand. I couldn't process what was happening. Like, instead of feeling my emotions, I jumped right into intellectualizing them, kuzipanga. This is so difficult to talk about. I didn't think it would be difficult still, because it's a few months till it's a year, but it's tough. On that day, I was at work, and I remember just thinking, is it tests zimekuwa mingi? So I felt I need to go to her immediately. So nilikuwa nangoja tu 5 ifike nitoke kwa ofisi niende, because ofisi yetu ilikuwa hapo Arguings Codec, and my mom was at Nairobi Hospital. So it's just like a 20, ni basi ya 20 bob. But I was thinking, do I want to go in a bus? If I go in a bus, it means I have to think the whole time I'm going, because the language she was talking about was like, is this test alikuwa nafanyiwa? I kept Googling them, and they kept pushing to, tests you do when you have cancer. And I was wondering, cancer, for real? We don't even have cancer in our family. I don't even know anyone like close in the family who, nilikuwa tu nashanga, like, it wasn't really making any sense to me. So nikasema sawa, nikangoja 5. My mom kept calling me, unakuja. I don't know if she was impatient ama nini, but she just kept calling me, and I think this scared me more. So I decided, badala kwenda na Ndudhi, nitatembea tu mpaka Ngong Road, hata sitatumia Arguings Codec, because there's always some crazy traffic over there. So I decided I'll just walk till Ngong Road pole nikifikiria, nipande mat tu nikifikiria. It was like an attempt to prolong, like, to get to her, because it's kind of like I already knew what was happening, but I just didn't want to hear it yet. Immediately my brother called me, nikipande hivi mat, brother wangu akanikola akaniambia, uko sawa? Uko wapi? Nikamwambia niko Kilimani, naenda kuona mom. Akaniambia, okay, I'm coming. He didn't even ask me anything else. He didn't ask me where mom was. He didn't ask me anything. He just said, I'm coming. He didn't even know where he was going, but he just said he's coming. Then I realized that, and I called him back and I told him, to Nenda Nairobi Hospital. He said, I'm coming. And there was traffic. So kwa njia, I was just like, oh fuck, now what does this mean? Like, what does this really mean? Because this is not something you ever think about as a kid growing up. You never think that your mom will be sick, your dad will be sick, your sibling will be sick, and then it will be something as scary as cancer, especially if you don't understand what cancer is, how it comes about, what it's about. It's really, really scary. Kufika hivi hosi, hapa hata hakukuwa Nairobi hosi kabisa, alikuwa cancer center something hapo karibu. I can't even remember that place, but she was getting her scans done. What the place is called When I got there, I saw the car and my brother was already there. And we just sat there and waited. And so I started explaining to him, these tests, this is what they mean. Because I had already done my fair share of Googling. This is what they mean. This is what is happening, blah, blah, blah. But even if it comes out like she has cancer, it's okay. This is what we're going to do. This is the treatment process. Like I had already done my research, Vizuri. So I wasn't really feeling like it's not possible my mom could have cancer. It's just that I was trying to already handle, if it comes out she does, okay, what next? Because I'm not someone who really likes to dwell in sadness or to be miserable. I like finding solutions. Yani, I jumped into my masculine energy so quick. I was just solutions, providing, taking care of everyone, making sure everyone is fine. That was what my mind jumped into immediately. I wasn't taking time to sit. Okay, I'll talk about that later. But I wanted to say I wasn't really taking time to sit in my own feelings and feel things. I was kind of just operating mechanically like a robot. Like I was just getting shit done, making sure shit was done. Because that was I had two weeks left at my place of work. They were letting me go. The contract had lapsed. So I knew, fuck, sina job, sina ganji, nalipa rent, madhini msik. Like, hizi vitu zote zilikuwa zina go through my mind. And it was, it was so scary. It was so scary. But for some reason, I just knew we were all going to be fine. But I knew I had to, get, sijui kujipanga tu. I knew this was it. If there was a time the universe was pushing me to become who I've always said I am, or to do the things I said I was going to do, it's now. Say sina excuses, say semati. Oh, but I'm young. Oh, but nini, it's do or die. If I don't step up, who's going to pay for the medication? Who's going to pay for the help that we need? Who's going to pay for all those things? It just has to be me, because it's just me and my mom now. My brother and dad are there, but taking care of the family, just being there for everyone. So my mom comes out with papers. She's walking really slowly, I can tell. Because she walks, okay, she doesn't walk fast, but this time she was really dragging herself. And I could tell she looked very scared. Her face was white. She looked shocked, she had just seen hata sijui alikuwa anaogopa I've only seen this look on her once before, and I just remembered that face, and I knew she was scared for real. So she walked to me and she handed me the paper, and she likes to I notice when she's uncomfortable she laughs, ile laugh, yeah. To just malizia the story and move on. So she said, it's cancer. And I was like, what? I remember my stomach sinking. My tears started forming. My heart started breaking. But because she was laughing awkwardly and my brother was there, my brother is madly in love with my mom. Sijui mother-son relationships. I just had to be strong. Nilikuwa na try kusak machozi zingie ndani. At the same time, naona mamangu zake ndo hizo. My brother is there also faking it. My voice was breaking. I couldn't speak. I knew if I spoke, if I would, my voice would just break. I would cry. So I took the paper and I started reading through it. Ilikuwa na hizo language mingi za science. So I just took my phone out and I was Googling everything. Sijui what adenocarcinoma. Sijui nodules of sijui where. Whoa. There was so many hard words. But it was confirming, yes, it's cancer. And yes. So now the next step, treatment. And my mom was saying she really doesn't want to be in a position where she has to do chemo, because she's so scared it'll deplete her of her life and her energy and her body, and she's so scared of suffering in pain and just struggling, because she's a nurse, so she knows about how difficult it is for cancer patients, the financial drain, everything. It was just so fucking crazy and scary to think about such. Yani nilikuwa nimesimama hapo nje kwa barabara naangalia hivi round naona Ngong Road. Ni Ngong Road ama inaitwaje? Hiyo inakwanga hapo kwa hiyo junction. Naangalia hivi naona Nairobi Hospital. Na shanga, yani ni mimi niko hapa Cancer Center. Napitanga hii barabara mara mob. Nimepita hii barabara mara mob in my life. So many times. Venye nilikuwa high school St. G, venye nilikuwa nakuja kusoma Kenya Library, venye nilikuwa nafanya kazi NHIF, venye nilikuwa nakuja chuo Daystar, venye nilikuwa nafanya kazi hapo Agwings Codec. Yani my whole life has revolved around that road. And I was asking myself, yani sasa I'm going to be coming here I'll be passing this road, remember, like, and the memory I have of it is finding out my mom has cancer. I was so sad. I was so broken. My mom said, okay, let's go to the restaurant and eat. So we walked to the Java that's right there. About 2 weeks before, I was there with my mom for lunch at the Java. And there was this nice waiter. Her name is Stella. I don't know. I can't remember if it's Stella or Siko Shua Sana. But she was so nice. And she remembered us from last time because we asked specifically for her to serve us. Because she was so nice to us and she was so kind. She didn't even know Yani what we were going through. But she was just so nice to us. And my mom was like, haha, I better eat chips and kuku for the last time because after this I know my whole diet is changing. And it just felt so sad because I knew now even as our diet has to change because we have to support her, like be with her in solidarity about how she eats, like her lifestyle has to change completely. Well, that day was so heavy. And while I was seated right there, scared about my mom, scared about my job, I get a call from a producer. And he tells me, hi, Roberta, I got your number from so-and-so and so. And we have this show we're shooting and we want you to be the host. We start recording in 2 weeks, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? What's happening? What's happening in my life? You know, so many things are happening at the same time. Immediately, I got that call. I realized, wow. Yani, you could be going through the worst moment of your life. But at the same time, there's so many things to be grateful for. There's so many things to say thank you for instead of just moping around like wallowing in your sadness. And I felt so grateful. And I wanted to call my Uber so I could go home but my mom was like, why don't you come home with us? Like my mom wanted me to go home, like home. But simi niko na kwangu. I felt like I had been holding shit together for the last 3 hours and I wanted to get home and just cry. I didn't want to cry in front of her and I knew if I went with them, I wasn't going to be able to cry. Na tungefika home because my dad was home. We'd have to start explaining the whole story to him again. I just didn't want to. Instead of me calling an Uber, they'll just drop me off at home and they'll chill with me for a bit. So we went to my house. I had bought some wine for my mom. She couldn't even take alcohol anymore. She said the best she could do niyo chips na kuku amekula. But now alcohol is a zero in her life. Now she has to stop completely. So she said, hiyo wine weka tu utakunywa na marafiki zako. So I returned it in my cabinet. And we chilled a bit and packed the stuff she'd shopped for me. Before that we went to do the shopping at Janki. No, sasa she dropped me home. And when I went to say bye downstairs and I came back upstairs, I just remember sitting on the floor and crying and crying and crying and crying. Oh, I really cried. I was so fucking sad, bro. And I went into the bathroom and I just nikafungwa macho, nikalia, nikakunywa hiyo wine, nikalia. Oi. So the next day we have to now, doctors are discussing, the cancer board was discussing like how to handle her case. She was still seeking like second opinions, seeing other doctors, starting the process for, making a decision for treatment. And my mom decided she was going to get surgery done in India. So your process, passport, visa, nini. That's what she was doing that whole week. So that's what we were up to. The whole time I'm still showing up on TV, smiling, like everything is fine. My colleagues really held me down. Like my friends were really, really there for me. I can't even believe it. I'm sorry if this episode is going to be sad, but I'm just realizing my mom is also going to hear all these things for the first time here, because we hadn't really had this discussion. So we're probably going to talk about it after. I think tumekuwa tu tukitry to get to a stable place first, and then now we can, decipher our emotions and probably feel them together. Tukiendelea tu na hizo process, my mom finally managed to go with my dad. She got her surgery. She came back in December. And from then on, it's just been her in recovery. I've always known my mom to be a very, very strong person. But this last 1 year, I could say, I've seen a resilience that I've never really seen before anywhere. I've seen someone still be a mother while going through the lowest moment of her life. And when you listen to her recording, you'll hear her say the only other time she was this sad this scared was when her mom died. And that's like 15 years ago. So I can imagine how life is. Like in life, you think you've gone through like the worst thing and then something else comes. But every moment is like a test of your resilience. Like, are you really who you say you are? Are you the person you pretend to be? Are you are you who you say you are? Like, are you able to like mean what you say, stand your ground, show up for yourself? Because I literally watched her feel like she was going to lose everything up to now, where she's rebuilding again. And I've grown up with my mom. Like, I've seen her rebuild over and over and over. We've lost everything so many times, and we've always started over. And I think that's why I have that heart, kujua, everything is just gonna be fine. I never really feel like, this is the end. I always know every end comes with something better, something new, something bigger. It's just about perspective. How do you choose to look at it? What do you want to see through it? And just another shout out to my friends. My friends really showed up for me. They really held me down. People were consistently in my house, cooking for me, taking care of me, talking to me, keeping me so engaged. Like, that's why I hardly had the time to sit in my sadness and just be sad, because I was always doing new things that I loved, things that I was enjoying. And I didn't really feel any guilt. I didn't feel, even when I was sad, it was just sadness. This sucks, but like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Everything is going to be amazing. And now I wanted to say, while I'm finishing up, nimeongea sana. During this whole process, one mistake I made was not feeling my feelings and intellectualizing them. I was always thinking about my feelings. Like, I was always trying to make logic, trying to think, okay, if I cry today, I won't be able to show up for 1, 2, 3. And that time I was getting so many bookings, so many jobs, so many opportunities. Like, at the same time, my life was crumbling, but my career was starting to really pick up. Yes, I had lost a job, but I was starting to make strides in everything, in so many other things that I was doing. Business plans were coming up. I was being invited to be guests on so many things, to be a speaker on so many things. And this proved, although it proved to me that yes, I have the I have the, what do I call it, I have what it takes to always show up for myself. It also showed me that you need to balance. While things can be rational, they also need to be very emotional. It's very important to make sure I feel my feelings, that I sit with them and I understand them so that I'm able to regulate them better and manage them. Because imagine, after so many months, this was happening in September, October, after so many months, it was only in, I don't know if it was in February or in March or in January, one time after the show on Citizen TV, I can't remember what we were talking about, but I was there giving advice and smiling when internally, my life was crumbling. Like, I felt like I was dying inside. And that day, I just got home and I broke down. I broke down and I cried. It was the second time I was ever crying ever since the day for finding out the diagnosis. And I just cried, and I was wondering, why is it that I'm breaking down now, so many months later? And I realized it's because I wasn't really taking time to feel my emotions. So it's important to feel your emotions. It's important to talk about them. I'm happy that now I'm at a space where I'm able to talk about it. And my mom is also, I'm so proud of her for having a voice and being able to speak about her feelings, because I'm learning so much from her. She's a very private person, but now we're even working on opening her own podcast so she can talk to people about all these things, talk to people about being a mom, talk to people about her experiences. And I'm super, super, super proud of her. So I hope you guys will follow her and you will learn from her just as much as you learn from me, and you will support her throughout her journey of becoming a social media creator. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at with my feelings. As for how I am right now, I think I'm at a very good place. Like, I'm generally happy with a lot of things in my life, but I don't know. Life comes in like waves. You just have to flow through it. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down, but every day is very valid and very normal. So wacha ninyamazie hapo, so you guys can listen to what my mom has to say.
We already watched the interview where you discussed the technical bits, the vitu kama costs, travel, trips to the doctor, hizo vitu zote, and I'm sure they were very emotionally and psychologically draining. I want us to talk about that part, the emotional part, which is very difficult to open up, but I'm sure it will help mtu mwenye maybe ana go through the same things, ataweza kuelewa that hayuko alone, na that easy feelings ni very normal, na all these things can happen to anyone. But before I ask you that, what's the nicest thing someone has ever done for you? The nicest. It can be anything.
The best thing somebody has done is to pray for me, to walk with me that journey.
What about in life in general, not just during your diagnosis? What do you think is the one memory and you felt like it could touch your heart the most?
The best thing somebody has ever done to me in life is somebody helped me to get a better job than just being a nurse at the facility. I got a better paying job with a parastatal, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
What's the best memory you have of family?
The best memory I have for family is when we just started a young family and we would go out together, have luncheons, and just being together as a family. That was the best.
What's one thing that you want me as your daughter to remember forever?
For me, what I would want you to remember from me is being prayerful, forgiving others, and at no time should we have a divided family. We should also have a very tight family all through.
Now let's get to the harder questions. The day that you found out about your diagnosis, what were you feeling? Can you remember the feelings that you had in your body, in your heart, in your mind?
Okay. Before I come to the feelings, I was a bit unwell and surgery had been done. So a year later, which was last year now, 2023 September, is when I started having bleeding per rectum. And it was so immense that I realized there's a problem and it started worrying me. So on that particular Wednesday, 12th of September, I decided to go and see a gastroenterologist and tell him all about how I was feeling that day. But deep inside, I had that intuitions. I had those feelings like maybe it can be cancer and any, but because I wanted to confirm, I just woke up and went and saw the doctor, and endoscopy was done. And there, after a week, I was sent results, and that was the most shocking part because okay, I had anticipated, but I don't know why it still shocked me even after receiving it. So that is when I went down. I was alone in the room.
At home or at the hospital?
I was at home because the results were sent via email and WhatsApp. So I was reading the results by myself. So I tried to internalize and it became a bit scary. So now at least it had been confirmed. It was cancer. So of course deep inside you feel what? You have the anxiety. You feel very anxious. And you have so many questions you want to ask yourself, and what led to this diagnosis. But eventually I gathered up enough guts and then called my doctor, and we went and sat with my doctor that afternoon. He was also shocked actually. And after that, now we started the staging so that we would know how to get further treatment.
So, what fears did you have? What were they about? Like,
How the fear was, of course, the staging, how fast it was going to kill you, because it was too short a time to comprehend. And the fear of also leaving the family without having planned them, and also just of getting organized actually. That was the fear.
so would you say, like, you feared death and just not having money, or like, was the fear mostly a financial fear, or was it fear of like leaving the family? Because unajua kama hauko watu walibaki wanajipanganga.
The fear was, it was not really finance. The fear was just leaving the family and not having planned. Okay, I know death you can't plan because we don't know when we'll die, but I just felt I was not ready to live at that particular time. I needed more time to plan and see, even if I'm dying, because that is our way. We have to go to internal by through deaths. I needed just to get to plan myself. If I was going to live, yes, I was going to do this. And I was also scared because of the effects. Of course, if you're going to start treatment, it's going to put you down for a long time. And that suffering was the problem.
How did this diagnosis affect your relationship with family?
Of course, when they had, people had different reactions, but it didn't affect them negatively. It affected them positively because now we became closer to each other and people could try to understand, which was the most important thing. And that is how they now started giving support, whichever support they were giving.
What has been the most significant change that you see in yourself throughout this process? Nini may change the most for you?
The most thing that has changed is things that I never used to look at. I was not very keen, is my diet. I've come to learn we don't take it for granted and we should eat healthy and also help others. It is also very important to help others because it comes back to you. And another thing is it opens your eyes so that you just know life is not just about others. It also involves you, and anything can change anytime.
Now that this whole process forced you to see these things, what do you think is the most important thing to you right now?
The most important thing to me right now is family unity, bring them together, stay with people well, not only family, it has to be extended out of family also. Change your lifestyle, eat healthy, and continue with exercises. And also, don't worry too much. Shouldn't worry because God is there. Continue praying. You become very prayerful, get closer to God because it's only God who can protect and heal you at the same time.
Who's the first person you told other than your doctor? Who did you call? Ama, who did you talk to?
The first person I spoke to was not my family. There were a few doctor friends of mine because I really needed to understand now as a layman what exactly is happening to me and what kind of treatment I could get. So I called a few friends who are doctors and we went and sat with them. And now after explaining to me of what is expected, treatment plan is now when I came and opened up to my family. That was my husband and my two children because they're the ones who took me for the scans when we were going for staging, and they also read the reports.
At first you told us that you wanted to keep it private. Haukukuwa unataka so many people wajue because haukuwa unataka pity party or watu wakwe scared and everything. So why was it important for you to keep this news private, especially in the beginning?
Why I thought I would keep it private was because I wanted actually to know more about it myself before I opened to people. And I also didn't want to scare people. And diagnosis is very confidential because the way different people take it is very different and it was going to even affect me more. That's why I wanted to deal with it myself before others can deal with it.
During this time, when you finally now started telling people, kwanza, who had the most different, ama shocking, ama just different reaction?
That one is a bit difficult to say because I think people were suffering deep internally. It's only my elder sister who did, and she was so worked up. It really affected her, and wherever she could go, she could tell people about it. So that is why actually I did not want it to go out. I wanted it to remain private because she really reacted very differently. There are some of my nieces and my nephews who are worried and just thought about death. That's why I was avoiding to tell people, and because their reactions really also shocked me. I don't think after my relatives heard about the staging, they just saw death. And this is what I was really avoiding because that is not encouraging. Actually, it brings you down.
And even after the staging, how come you didn't feel like you were going to die? What was it inside you that just made you feel, apana, this is not it? Something is different and we can still work on this. Because I remember you still having like the willpower. You weren't... Actually, other people were more sad than you. The people around you were more sad than you. Where you seemed like you were holding it together. But what is it? What was keeping you that strong?
When I looked at it, I thought the best way is to come out strong. And what was giving me the willpower was the God, because I prayed over it and I asked God and everything. And everything that I was praying for, I was even, okay, it's like God was assuring me this is something very small. So anytime I could pray and it didn't show me the negative side. So that's why I gathered guts and I knew this is curable for me.
Is there anything in your life that has ever scared you like this before? Anything that you can liken to the feeling you had during this period?
I've never, not really, but only at one time when I was really shaken in my life is when the loss of my mom. That's what also, that's what scared me. But most of the things are manageable.
What did you want to hear the most Like when people were calling you or when the people who were around you when they were talking to you, what do you think ulikuwa unataka kusikia?
I just wanted to hear the word healed. God has healed you and nothing more. God has healed and has done it, and you're going to be the witness. You're going to give your testimony, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just positive affirmation, just positive words and reassurance.
Yeah, that's what.
basically.
Yes.
So right now that you're healing and you're doing so much better, how do you think people could have shown up for you better?
What
Like now with the knowledge of hindsight, now when you look back, ukiangalia unaona nini watu wangefanya better kukuonesha support throughout this whole process?
the kind of support somebody would need when you are in this condition is just words of encouragement. Sometimes just calling you or being there for that person, not necessarily financially, but just talking, keeping you busy, and removing you from that trauma. That is the best thing. Somebody. Yes, I mean, the kind of support is when friends come visit you and they move you away from that kind of idea and the scary part of it, of you having cancer. The one, so that they make you forget about it. It keeps you going.
Like
Not that you need somebody to remind you of that, you are now on this treatment, You need kawaida, just kawaida talk the way you've been without cancer. It keeps you going. Keep strong, keep calm, and be very prayerful, and just learn more about it so that you can help yourself. The most important thing is you start with yourself. There's so many things you'll hear from people, Nini, but just go down and read about it and know how to take care of yourself. It also helps. And then nothing is impossible with God. Doctor treat, but God heals. So people will tell you many myths, but there are some you can demystify, because even me, when I was told about the staging and the type of treatment, I didn't expect by the end of it, doctor was telling me we are just observing you and there's no treatment, So even there, we beat the American guidelines, which was telling us a must chemo, a must colostomy, a must. So today here I am, and I'm thanking God. All these things have not happened, so we are just on diet and normal medical treatment in case of any sickness. Okay, the first staging they did was stage 4 cancer. Why? Because it had already spread to the surrounding lymph nodes in the abdomen, and had also, according to the imaging scan, it had gone to the liver. So that's what, those are the results I had. But after India, when they went and did surgery, they realized the lymph nodes, none was affected at the surrounding area, and the liver was intact, and that's how now they came to stage 2 of the diagnosis.
And so imagine umetoka unaambiwa stage 4 alafu backtrack all the way to stage 2 where you don't even need a colostomy anymore, you don't need chemo, you don't need further treatment. So now how are you managing now your condition?
Now my condition is, of course, you have to do regular checkups with your physician. You have to do regular checkups. You have to be on diet, specific on plant diet. You have to do exercises. So why we are doing regular checkup is because of the imbalances of electrolytes. Sometimes the hemoglobin would go down. So those are the checks that we have to keep in control.
How has this whole process impacted your perspective on life? How do you live your life now differently from how you used to be?
It has taught me that you must remain positive all the time. And whatever you had planned to do that day, please do. Don't postpone it. And don't ever delay anything. Whatever you want to do, enjoy. If it's good time, Nini, don't just postpone. Do whatever is supposed to be done today, because you never know of tomorrow.
Yeah, like live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Ni kama leo ndio.
Live life to the fullest, yes. Like today is the last day.
Okay. So when we're starting, you told me you're turning 56 this year. So tell me, what's the best and worst part about growing older? We can start with the best.
The best, of course, as you grow older, you get to become more wise. That is the best thing because you've seen a lot and experienced a lot, and you can be able to teach and mentor others. And the worst part is when you're growing old, of course, the body itself refuses, so you end up having so many illnesses, which makes you immobile. That is the saddest part. And you'll find that at that time, financially, you're also anemic. You can't afford many things, and that's when you really need finances to take care of your body.
So, as we're wrapping up this interview, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners? Anything from your heart, anything from your mind, any advice? It can be about anything.
What I would want to advise my listeners is cancer is there. People should be aware, and let's not ignore it. Let's take care of our bodies. Let's eat healthy and continue exercises, and we continue reading more about it. Because ignorance, the biggest,
Killer.
when we assume things, and let's have these regular doctor checkups, because it's from there that they can know how to manage early, detect the disease early. But when we assume and we go last minute, you find that things are out of control. Keep moving, be very prayerful. It also helps. And that's the way to go. And remain positive all the time.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing with us and for showing us that even through fear and through anxiety, you can still be able to remain positive, because all these feelings are very natural human feelings. And so basically, mostly what I'm getting from this is people should always remain positive and just trust that everything will be okay through God.
Very true.
And to just believe that, okay, believe, it's like it happens in your mind before it even manifests physically. Ukisha believe in your mind that everything will be fine, your body will also follow suit.
Yes.
Hiya. Thank you.